Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me. When you think of power, what comes to your mind? Maybe it's a great leader, such as the President of the United States. Or maybe it's directed to a famous athlete. Or maybe it's directed to someone who is living in your very own community. But let's face it, no matter who it is that we think of, they all started off small. Each and every one of them either wanted to make a difference or strive to be a better person. When I think of power, I not only think of the actions one executes to rise to a position of power, but I also think of the power that is sparked in each and every one of us. Power is defined as the ability to influence the behavior of others or the course of events. Now think about that for a moment. The one key word in that definition is influence. Do you have what it takes to be an influence? Or here's another one. Can you be a dependable leader? Can you, in fact, be the change when you see others around you who are simply doing nothing? When I think about it, can one small action or task make an impact in change? While Hitler was slaughtering nearly 6 million Jews, a German officer by the name of Schindler was illegally sheltering nearly 1,200 Jews and was providing food and clothing for them. And most recently, a 91-year-old woman by the name of Mavis, who was legally blind, made 200 quilts for babies in South America. Then, there are people who overcame their obstacles and found the power within themselves to make a difference, such as Helen Keller, who became deaf and blind at birth, but still relentlessly fought and advocated for the deaf and the blind people who are just like her. These people mentioned had dreams and failures, and they were humans just like us. Only, they strived and fought for the hope of others around them. They made a difference. You may be sitting here today and be thinking to yourself, what can I do to use the power in me to make a change in my community or even the world? Well, let's eat the elephant one bite at a time. What can you do in your community? Let's look at the key words that played an important part in the role of power: influence and dependability. Now, to have an outstanding voice in your community alone, you need to be an influence. Do the people around you see you as someone that they can trust? Scott Adams, who is an American cartoonist, said this: "You don't have to be a person of influence to be influential. In fact, the most influential people in my life are probably not even aware of the things that they taught me." No matter where you go, people are watching what you do. And it may have a negative impact or a positive impact on them. If there are immoral or unwise decisions being made around you, you need to have the strength to influence and say what's right and wrong. Secondly, you must have dependability. When you are conjuring up that power and courage to make a difference in your community, the people who look up to you need someone to depend on. They need to trust you and have complete reliance in you. Glenville Kleiser, who is a North American author, said this: "You are already of consequence in the world if you can be known as a man of strict integrity, if you can be absolutely relied upon. If when you say a thing is so, it is so. If when you say you will do a thing, you do it. Then you carry with you a passport to universal esteem." Being a dependable leader takes you one step closer to gaining the trust and the respect that you need. The people around you need to know and realize that you are someone that they can count in a difficult situation. To have power in your world or even the community may be a difficult notion to conceive. But what if there was something to fight for? Could that make it any easier? When we think about it, the power of change starts with you. The power of change starts with one person. then it can spread like wildfire. Sure, there will be people who will want nothing more than to put that fire out. There will be failure, and there will be negative voices speaking against your better judgment to do what is right. But if you persevere and focus on something that is bigger than yourself, you will find that inner power to rise up and make a difference. On the last note, do not be a follower, be a leader. And know that what you say and the actions that you take can have the power to make lasting changes beyond your comprehension. Can one, in fact, have the power to change the world? Maybe not. But be like Schindler and Marvis and Keller. When others around you are making the wrong decisions, stand up and make the right ones. The changes and the actions Marvis, Keller, and Schindler took may not have affected anything on a global scale, but it did make an influence. And many others like them did make changes, big and small, but most importantly, even the smallest changes can start with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with this. Don't settle for ordinary, settle for extraordinary. Be the voice and be the change and stand up for what is right. And just as J.R.R. Tolkien quoted in my favorite book, The Lord of the Rings, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Thank you.